Creating live. Is it up? And we're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here. If you're watching this and you're tuning in, I'm here to basically speak on a lot of things. I want to speak to people more so. I really don't care too much about what's the goings-ons of the internets and the crazies and the things that are happening. I want to talk to people more than what I'm saying. Because the recent controversy is that Joe Rogan has said the N-word. That is the recent controversy that is happening right now. Salute to Gil Prince in the building. I think my thing has hit the web. I think I am being heard and broadcast throughout the internet. The man Joe Rogan has said the N-word and people are in an uproar. People are upset. They are angry. They are mad. They are calling for his head. They are telling him to get off of Spotify. They are killing him. And this is all over a word. One word. The N-word. That people shouldn't be saying if they're of a certain skin tone. And yeah. I'm just trying to understand. Well, I understand. Let's just start there. I do understand, but I more so want to take calls and try to hear from the people, you know what I'm saying, about the N-word and its origins and where did it start, how did it happen, why does white people can't say it, why. I just want to talk about the shit. So I'm gonna look up this N-word. Let's do that first. Because it does have a Wikipedia page. The N-word has a Wikipedia page. And does it matter if a white person wrote it? You know what I'm saying? Now we get into weird territory. So this is the Wikipedia page for the infamous N-word. And I'm just going to read this, and then we'll try to understand it. Then I'll call some people. If people call in, I'll take your call, and we'll try to break this down and try to understand this for a little bit. I just wanted to do this because I don't think anybody's doing this. So, yeah. The word nigger, I could say it because I'm black, you know what I'm saying? All right? Is an ethnic slur typically used against the black people, all right? Especially African Americans, because it's considered extremely offensive, even used as a slur. It is often referred to the euphemism, the N-word. It is also used more neutral meaning among African Americans, primarily as nigga. Now, I'm pretty sure a white person probably wrote this because I don't know I don't know if Wikipedia has black people. I'm pretty sure they probably do, but can they even write the word? This is the shit that's going on me. The variants of Niger and Niger derived from the various romantic words for black, including the Spanish Portuguese word negro, and now perorative French negri. Ooh. There's negro, negri, negra, negrum, neger, negre, noir. So there's variations of this thing. And apparently, I don't know, but white people aren't allowed to say any of these things, right? I don't know. Call up. Let me know what they're allowed to say. I have no idea. During that late 18th and early 19th century, the word nigger also described an actual labor category, which African American laborers adopted for themselves as a social identity. And thus, white people used the diaspora word as a distancing and derogatory epithet, as if quoting black people in their non-standard language. This is a long fucking conversation. This is a long history. And if you're white and you need to know this, maybe you should read this. Nigger. They keep saying different words. Eventually similar to the modern use dude or guy. I never heard of that. Niggur. Niggur. Who says that? The noun slid back and forth from the derogatory to endearing. I know, like, we as black people do say it, but it is like a weird thing, man. Like, I don't understand everybody's really their uproar for it. I kinda understand, but when people are discussing the word, they can't say the word if they're white. So you can't even say it in discussion. So if a white person wrote this, are they wrong? That's what I want to know. If you're writing it, what if you're writing it in terms like, what if you're reading it? What if you're singing it in a song? It's so many applications where a white person would say the N-word. I'm just on the fence of very, like, coming at this people for this shit. Now, other statements were made by the infamous Joe Rogan that I do agree are fucking terrible. But the N-word usage is a little crazy. A little crazy. I'm going to try to call my guy King True on the matter, because King True is very pro-black, extremely pro-black. He's the only person that I know that went to the Black History Parade and shit like that. Like, I know him to go to those things. So this is technically the most pro-black person in my phone right now. I believe. He's a little crazy. But let's call him. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we could get him on the line here. Let's see if we can get him on the line here. Yo. King
Good.
True.
What's good? What's going on? Sp8ghost?
Yes, it's Sp8ghost.
What's good, baby man? What's going on?
So I'm just sitting here. You know, I do a little show by myself. You know that.
Okay.
And you know what I'm doing my show on today is the infamous N-word.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm doing my show on the infamous N-word, and I just want you to break it down in your terms on how did this word come about? How did you know? How did you learn about it? Are you offended by Joe Rogan's comments?
Right.
All of that good stuff.
Um so so you're basically asking me like my first encounters of the word?
Yeah, sure.
Well, wow. Wow. I think the first time my neighbors had my neighbors were like foster parents, right? So, growing up in Queens, when I was young, Caribbean household, when we was young, I didn't run the streets like that as far as like, 7 to 8, 9 years old. So my friends growing up at that young of an age was like my neighbors. So
Mm.
they had foster kids. They came from the Bronx, so they was like different type of kids than what we was. Like they was straight hood. They was straight, like I've never met kids like this. Like they were brother and sister, right? Two kids, they were brother and sister, and they would fight each other like dudes, like on the street.
And
And then they would
and
say
they were
like
white.
they were black. No, they were black.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no, it's a black neighborhood. It's black, in Queens. Like I lived in Lawton, grew up in Lawton.
okay, okay.
So it's a black neighborhood, but it's a middle class, neighborhood. It's not like projects everywhere and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So my neighbors had these foster kids, and I used to hear them cuss and say nigga this, nigga that. So that was the first time I encountered the word
From a black person.
nigga. I'm like,
So you heard it
from
from
a black person, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, from like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? First time. That's the first time I remember hearing it. And then you in school you get a little older and you start you hear the kids say it, and it's just it's like a tag along. It's like you get accustomed to the word. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it started becoming a part of my lexicon growing up. Now, my father teaching me about the word, from a history standpoint, I know that, Portugal and Spain is really who kicked off the transatlantic slave trade. So they called their slaves negro. Negro, which is the color, right? Negro,
Yeah.
which is the color black, right?
So
which is not necessarily. Go ahead.
So you just automatically go to the slave trade with this.
Well, that's where it came from. That's how it was taught to me where it came from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The word came from the slave trade when they used to say negro, and white people in America couldn't talk right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know how to say negro, so they just say nigga or a nigra, and which ended up turning into nigga, right?
Okay.
So that is as far as the history I know on the word and where it comes from. I mean, I know a lot of people be like, oh, the negas, and there were kings from Niger was called negas and all that other stuff. Yeah, I mean, they also named us Leroy too, which was like a French word for king. So they would name niggas Leroy. You know what I'm saying? Because Leroy in French means king. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, I get it, but you hear the word nigga. That's where it comes from. Negro comes from negro. Them viewing us as chattel, because they didn't necessarily call black people at that time negro, but because we were chattel, inanimate objects, right, to be sold, they just named us black, just black. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the word comes from for me. Now, obviously, we all grew up in black neighborhoods and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So we get accustomed of using the word, and it becomes a term of endearment for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? As black people, we use the word as in term of endearment, you know what I'm saying, to recognize each other like, okay, he comes from a certain community, we come from a certain community. Now, when other races say it, because they don't come from that certain community, it is viewed as an insult.
Okay.
Or they're using it
that.
out of turn.
They're using it out of turn.
Right.
Okay.
So now I lived in Staten Island, right? At one point, I used to live in Staten Island, and when I used to live in Staten Island, and I used to go play basketball at the LA Fitness there, all the people I played ball with was either Spanish or Italian or Chinese, and they all said nigga. They all said nigga. Me and maybe one other brother's there, hearing them say, he's from Staten Island, so he's used to hearing them talk like this. I'm not. So I'm like, man, what the
But they
only
were
people I
saying,
know.
were they saying it as a term of endearment, or were they saying it?
Yes, they were saying, if you let me tell you something. They were saying it, using it so well that if you close your eyes, you wouldn't know that they was Italians or Chinese. You would think they was regular black folks using the word.
Okay.
You know what I'm
But then,
saying? You
but then
wouldn't
on the
even
other
know.
spectrum, black people love to say everybody come from Africa and all this other stuff. So like, I
Right.
don't.
Hmm.
What?
Yeah, but I mean,
Do you get what I'm
so
saying now?
I,
And
I I know what you're saying.
and
I
then
know
it's
what you're
like if
saying.
they
I know
are
what you're
using
saying.
it correctly as a term of endearment, you still
Right.
take offense, right?
It can be still taken effect because it's like, okay, so it's like okay, I hate to use this. I hate to use, but gay people, right? Or let's use this. Let's use women.
Okay.
Women will call each other the B word. Now, me and you
Yes.
know culturally as black men, if you call a woman a B word, you don't know her, it's gonna be problems. But women will use the word amongst each other. Why?
But you know what? I
Be-
have used the B word as a term of
yes,
endearment talking to
to
my
someone you
female friends.
to your get the word now. Get that's the
He hung up. So, we lost him. Hold on. I'll get him back. I'll get him back on. King True, I guess his call dropped. I think he'll call back. Or let me try to get him back on. But it is a complicated situation. Yeah, true.
yeah. My bad. Um, yeah. So the key word being your, which is a possessive term, that is yours. So you have a little bit more leeway with something that is yours versus something that's not.
Yes.
So if you don't know a female, you're not just going to use that term.
Yes, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Right. Right. So women that don't know each other will use the word. That's what I'm saying. Like they'll use it just freely amongst each other. Like, big, you better go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
I understand that. I understand that. But
Hmm.
sometimes, if it's two strange women, they might not use it. It's all in context. To me, it's all in context. If it's
It
two
is. Yeah.
women and they're in Sephora and they're talking about makeup and they're like, man, you got to get this bitch, da, 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 right?
Right.
They'll do it that way. I understand that. But if it's another woman like, yo, this bitch, they might take it offensive. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on how it's
It's
used.
all
Yeah,
context. It's
the
all
context. Yeah.
context.
Right. Right.
And I feel it's
The
the same.
context
I
for.
feel like it's the same for the N word. If we're in a concert
Mhm.
and Snoop Dogg on stage and white people support Snoop Dogg, this is a fact.
Yeah.
So they're not allowed to sing the N word.
I don't. It's tough,
It's
man.
a
It's
it's a
complicated
yeah.
because a part of the context when using the word nigga is skin color. You know what I'm saying?
So we just say, so
You have to.
why can't
Yeah.
why can't we just blanket statement, if you're white, don't say it, right? That's the blanket.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it is. It's funny, man. It's just funny, bro. Because in certain places of the world, like, okay, I drive trucks. Now I've met white guys that had black friends and they felt comfortable using the word around their black friends, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I would have to tell them like, hey, man, I understand you use it around your black friend, but I'm not your friend. Don't use it around me. And honestly, I'm trying to help you because anybody else could,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I
hear you
understand
using
what
the
you're
word and
saying.
catch offense.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking once again, I'm talking about context. We talking about
Right.
context. Uh,
Hmm.
if Leonardo DiCaprio could play a slave owner and say nigga on TV on a movie, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is
Right.
that makes it okay now?
It makes it okay because it's a historical piece. You know what I'm saying? So
But
there.
what if it's not historic? What if it's a current today piece and the white actor is playing a racist person?
Well, I mean, you seen that movie Down to Earth
Yeah,
where Chris Rock is the
yeah.
he's like
He's
a
the
rich white
comedian, and
dude.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
was
he
the white
doesn't
dude.
realize, right? the brilliantness of the movie is that he doesn't realize he's a white guy in that moment singing that song, the DMX song.
Yeah.
So the other dudes and the other black brothers that saw him doing it knocked him clean out.
Yes.
Knocked
I
him
remember that
clean out.
at Graves Papaya.
Right. I mean, the punches hurt harder if you say nigga to another black man. That's just how it goes.
But even in that sense, they punched him out because he was singing DMX. They came in playing the shit, and he's like, "Oh, this is my shit." He wasn't saying it
Niggas
negative.
gonna die. Niggas gonna die. All I feel is pain. Like, nigga,
Yeah, you make the song. You make the song. White people like it.
Yeah.
They can't sing it. What are we doing?
They could hum it.
Come on,
I mean,
True.
I don't know.
Come on,
I mean,
True.
listen. Let's be fair. Karma is a real thing. You hung niggas. You boiled their skin alive. I mean, you raped their women. You even raped some of the men.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
But
at
you
least
cannot.
let us have this.
You cannot. Like, context is very important. It's very important.
Context is very important. Like I said, skin color could be a part of the context.
If you're in the courtroom
mm-hmm.
around white lawyers and a white judge, they're recanting what you said, they're not gonna fucking skip the N-word. They're gonna say it because it's a legal document, and they're recanting your words verbatim.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
In that sense,
mm-hmm.
it makes it okay. Like, they can say it, right? Or it doesn't. They can't say it even.
I mean, in a court of law where everything has to be understood that certain things happen, yes, it's okay. Because if that was actually said in the moment, you want to be able to produce that and say, hey, this was said, so it's not confused for anything else.
All right. Can white teachers teach the use of the N-word to students?
No, I don't even think even if you're a black teacher, I don't think you should be saying the word nigga amongst children. In some sense, I don't let my children
I'm not
use that
saying
word.
I'm not saying young children. I'm talking about maybe college professors. They have a Black History course or something, and somebody asks a question. You know what I'm saying? Hey, where'd the N-word? A student can ask, hey, where'd the N-word come from? What are you going to say? Refer to your parents? Or it's a history teacher. If he says, well, it comes from da-da-da, right? He can't say the word then, though.
So then that teacher should be like, hey, is it okay if I use this term? Listen, it's just like misgendering somebody in the day and time. Let's talk about it. It's just like, misgendering someone or
come on, True. It's not the same. It's not the same. This has been around for a long time. Brought up,
I'm just saying. We can. There's plenty of ways to, get the idea across without being or making someone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, like I said, I know black people that don't. I know older black people. What about older black people? They'll still take offense because they come from that era where if you said that word, it was an insult.
Yeah, but I'm
if
pretty
a black
sure.
Person
but
said it to
but
I'm
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, 1,000%, that if you told an old person today that Joe Rogan used the N-word, and then you tell them, then they're gonna be, who the fuck is Joe Rogan? Oh, this white dude. He's a broadcast radio person. Right? They'll tell you white people have been saying the N-word for years.
I mean, listen. I
like,
would
you
have
offended that a white person went white? This is what we're offended about?
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I mean, listen. I was actually a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast.
You was, so you're no longer a fan.
Guys.
You're no longer a fan.
I'm not gonna say I'm no longer a fan of his work, but I'm definitely demoting him a little bit because of that type. I never knew he went off like that.
To be honest, the N-word shit, I heard those episodes. I'm not really tripping off that.
And remember,
the shit that
the
is crazy.
NGGER?
I understand
What
it
about the
because,
GER
but he's
at the end,
explain every time he says it, he was explaining it and having the same conversation we are having right now. You get what I'm saying?
So why
I
don't he just say
understand
the N-word?
I understand the use in that terms. The
Here's
other
the funny
shit,
thing.
the Planet of the Apes shit is wild. That is wild.
That's wild.
It is wild. That shit is wild. I'm not dismissing that.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna say this, right?
Like, come on, a little bit.
I'm gonna say this.
They talking about it. They talking about words. I kind of get it. I get it.
I'm gonna say this. I don't struggle with words that I didn't grow up using. So if you wanted to sit here and say, well, you can't call white people honky. Okay, I never really called the white person a honky before. What's up? Oh, what's up, Hodge? Oh God.
But
what's
white
up,
people
man?
White people don't take offense.
You talked to them already?
You
Okay. Yeah, I'm listening.
But white people don't take offense to these words, cracker, honky, and all that shit. They don't take offense to those words.
They don't, but I mean, like I said, if you was to tell me that, hey, what's the new mayor? I forgot the brother's name. He just got in trouble the other day for saying
Eric
cracker.
Adams for saying
Eric
cracker.
Adams, right?
He didn't get in trouble.
Right.
He just apologized. He got in front of it.
But why the hell he got But it's just like the Joe Rogan situation. If he got a qualified for saying something about white folks that they used to call themselves crackers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they used to. This is something that they deemed themselves, and now we can't use it because it's some sort of insult for that.
So where did that come? Where did that come? That come from cracking the whip, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, the cracking of the whip. Cracking of the whip. Look at the
So
crap
technically, it's a term of endearment.
It can be. It can be.
I'm just saying, like you.
Oh yeah, he might be in the yard too. He might be if he's not there, he might be in the yard. Yeah.
You talking to somebody?
But you ever see the Cracker Barrel sign? The Cracker Barrel sign?
Yeah, I know. I saw it. Yes, I know.
And it has the white man with the crack of the whip.
But when did Cracker Barrel come out? It's been there for years. Racism exists. It's been around. We had a fucking war about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
It's not like it's a fictional thing. We can't erase it. It happened. It's true.
But you can't undermine people as well, and that's the biggest thing. It's the undermining of people. It's like okay, yeah, you're on. You got to be mindful. You're on a podcast. If you and a whole bunch of white people and you just throwing the word nigga around, that's already racist, bro. I don't care in what context that you're gonna use it. At least have a brother there to be like, okay, yeah, it's cool. I see what you're saying. You know, a brother could at least back you up. That's like a bulletproof vest a little bit. You know what I mean? Because the brother said, all right, it's cool. But if it's you and a whole bunch of white people, bro, like, come on, you gotta know that's just bad for business.
White people,
but I'm pretty sure.
So I don't understand. This is the point. This is the point I'm trying to make, though. Like,
go ahead.
People are offended by this, and rightfully so. They have the right to be offended.
Yeah.
But it's two white people discussing shit like white people, and we're mad. Like, we're surprised.
Yeah, but you gotta understand. Okay, we all know. Like I just said, we all know that they do it on the private. You on a public, a podcast. You're
the majority
on the
of that audience is white. He ain't missing a beat. The thing
that makes it worse, though.
No, it don't.
It makes it worse because it's like you just had a white rally, just spewing all these niggas and all this other shit.
But to
that's
be
what
honest,
it seems like.
Every time he said the word, they were talking about the word.
Yeah,
the same way we talking about it right now. I don't hear, but the reason why I'm doing this show now is because I don't hear black people discussing the word like this. I don't. I just hear white people shouldn't say it, and y'all niggas is that's what I hear. I just hear we can say it. We can say whatever the fuck we want. They shouldn't be saying it. Okay.
I mean, there needs to be. I don't know. Some of these niggas that have the platforms and the power to actually make these conversations a thing, they won't do it. I mean, maybe for whatever reasons they don't do it or whatever the case. But I agree with you. It should be a conversation, especially now. Shout out to NDRE for making it a conversation now. You know,
She didn't make it a
you know.
conversation.
So she kind of did, though. You know, you give the
Man, this
black
is
woman
a
her credit.
this and you got to ask yourself, why is this happening now? The dude has 1,000-something podcasts. Why is it happening now? It's very important. That's a
There's a
very
lot of
important
reasons.
thing too.
There's a lot of reasons to it. I mean, you
I don't want to get into that. I just
there's
want
a
to talk
lot of
about
people that don't like Joe
the word
Rogan.
itself. I just want to talk about the N word itself right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, man, you know, the word, it's I don't know, man. It's a very complicated word, man, for a lot of reasons. You know, the historical context,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the context in which we use it in our culture, as far as, you know, music and how the word has been deemed. I mean, it's like there's almost no realm where it can be positive when you really think about it. I mean, we could try to use it in a positive word, in a positive way, but the word ultimately means something negative. You'll never run away from that.
I mean, but people say that it comes from negus and all that shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit, honestly. Sorry. I mean, let's keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Like, we could, you know, I mean, this is fuckery. I mean, you know, we know where the word comes from. Let's stop playing games, man. You know? We don't call each other niggas.
Niggas.
We don't say that. We don't say that shit, bro. You know? Well, yo, let me go. I gotta handle this business
Yeah,
over here,
go
man.
ahead.
Yo,
True.
shout
Thank
out
you,
to you,
thank you,
Space
man.
Ghost.
Thank you. I'm gonna call Dupreme next. Thank you, man.
No doubt. Got you, bro. Got you.
All right, True.
Later.
It's a complicated thing, man. Feel free to call up. If you want to, like, it's just, like, the singing of the songs. White people buy black music. White people support black people. They do, and they sing these songs that we say the N-word freely in. Are they wrong? Should they not be doing it? These are questions that I have. Like, where's the limit? Where's the limit? Where's the threshold for things that should be happening, shouldn't be happening? I don't know. Where is it to begin with? You know. Let's call Dupreme. I'm gonna call Dupreme. If nobody's calling up, I'm gonna call Dupreme and let's hear what Dupreme has to say. See if we can get him on the line first. Let's see if we can get him on the line.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Let me call him from here because he probably is not picking up because he doesn't know the number. I'm gonna call him here and tell him I'm calling back. Yeah, it's a confusing argument for me. I mean,
Hello?
Dupreme.
Yo, what's good, Space?
I'm calling you right back from a different number. Answer.
All right.
Yeah, that's Dupreme. You know, Dupreme is one of those weird guys who doesn't pick up the phone for numbers he doesn't know and shit like that. So I know he just like he does that. Let's get Dupreme on the line.
Hello?
Yeah, Dupreme, what's up, man?
Yo, not much, man.
What's up? I'm doing my show. This is Formalities. You know, I do a show by myself sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'm breaking down the usage of the N-word.
Damn.
Do you know the history of the N-word?
Not directly, but I mean, it's. I can get the information. I can email. I can send a link to you.
I know. I'm talking. We're just talking. When was the first time you encountered the use of the N-word?
Oh, first time I did. Let me see. Honestly, it was from black people. Honestly, I didn't get I didn't hear the word nigga from any outside so-called races. Honestly, very first time I heard it, it was said outside. You know what I mean? Like, yo, nigga, pass the ball. It was said like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't said necessarily it was said also aggressively at times. You know what I mean? Like that's an aggressive moment sometimes, but it's usually, you know what I mean, like just the normal, flow of basketball or sports. But it wasn't really said negatively until like older teenagers in the neighborhood or something like that. They may say it like, you stupid nigga, or you to somebody, you be like, damn, now you know it's negative. But I didn't hear it in my household like that at all, honestly. And I didn't hear it from white people or foreign people. Not that they weren't using it. I'm just saying my personal experience. I don't think I've ever had a white person call me nigga, honestly.
Okay.
Like
okay.
not to me
Not to your
directly.
face.
About me, yeah, about me, I'm sure. I mean, let's be like, I'm not going. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm sure that somebody walked out of a room and somebody was like, "Fucking nigga." I'm sure. Like, and that's fine. I can respect that though. At least you got the decency. See, some people think they want it like live in action, but then you got to then you're like a hostage to a reaction to that. I don't feed that energy, so I don't think I get it to my face a lot because I don't that word don't move me. I'm not a puppet for the word nigga. You can't move me. As long as you don't deter me from leaving, you can call me whatever you want, white, black, whoever you are. Just please don't impede my movement in leaving. Just allow me to go home safely. Because if you don't, then I have no choice but to defend myself at all costs. But other than that, I win, lose, or draw. But I've never encountered nigga in that way. And anytime it was really negative, it was usually from somebody that supposedly looked like me, quote unquote brother or sister.
Okay, so you're the second person I've called that has said that the first time they've heard the word was from a black person.
Yeah, that's
was,
the first. Yeah.
It was more. Would you say it was a term? It was endearment. They was using it as a term of endearment.
I think there was when you're younger, yeah, because they be like, yo, look at that little nigga. Hello, nigga, yo, that nigga fresh. Like, you know what I mean? So that's moments in terms of endearment to you. Like, you could tell that they're complimenting you, but you can also tell the negative vibration. Like I said, when you outside and you like, let's say you like when I was going to PS 224 in Brooklyn, like at that point, the kids that's like you in the fourth grade, kids that's like in the sixth and seventh grade, yo, those are like grown ass men to you. Yeah. At that age, they like grown ass men. They curse. Some of them niggas smoke cigarettes, weed, drinking. It's crazy. Especially back then. So when they come on you and they try to press you with that energy, like, where y'all niggas going? You already know it's negative. Simple like that. Where y'all niggas going? Where y'all niggas from? Oh, y'all niggas going to school? Oh, that nigga got a book in his hand. So it's often used a lot negative in our own community, but we pretend it's not. It's usually used to demean that nigga broke, that nigga a bum, that nigga a herb, that nigga a cornball, that nigga pussy, that nigga soft. Honestly, I think it's used just as much negative as it is positive.
So how do you feel? Let's get into the nooks and crannies. How do you feel about all this Joe Rogan shit that's happening with his usage of the N-word? I think the Planet of the Apes shit is wild. I'm gonna say, but the N-word usage, he is using it while in conversations the same way me and you are talking about the N-word.
Yeah,
he's using it the same way, but he's just saying the word. He's saying nigga. He's saying nigger. He's saying it instead of just like pussyfooting around the word. You understand?
Yeah, I don't. It's Joe Rogan is obviously who he is, and he said the things he said, and no one should excuse it or try to stand up for him or stand against him. I mean, I think he's standing where he needs to be. He deserves whatever criticism he's getting, but I don't think it's a big deal. I think black folks have, and I say black folks, I'm saying people. It's really not black folks, because black folks don't do anything different than most people. So people tend to wield the sword that they feel they have. Like, most of us don't have much, no power. So when you believe social media gives you some power in your tweet or your message, you're going to keep swinging that hammer until you and believe that it's actually landing on something. But it's not. Joe Rogan was offered more money if he left somewhere his current situation. So it's same thing with the guy with the Clippers. He was like, get rid of him. We got him up out of there. You got him up out of there at the tune of like $3 or $4 billion, and he bought the team for like $20 million in the '80s or something.
We're getting out the weed. Joe Rogan said the word. Is he?
He did.
Is he wrong?
Is he racist?
Not racist.
No, I don't know. I don't think he's wrong. You know why I don't think he's wrong? Because when he's at Method Man concert and Method Man tells him, so when I say real, you say nigga, real. And I'm not picking Method Man like he's ever done that. I'm just picking a legendary rapper in my mind that's the only reason why he's there. I'm not saying Method Man has ever encouraged anyone to be derogatory towards any group.
But hold on. But if majority of white people support rap music, like you say, right? Rap
yes,
music,
they do. They love it.
Are they not allowed to sing the songs that they support?
I think so. I don't think Jay-Z put a disclaimer and said, yo, if you white, when you come to my concert, don't say nigga. I haven't heard them say that, or they would have pushed that movement and it would have been known. They don't care because the word doesn't mean nothing. It's a reactionary, it's a knee-jerk word for us because we want our story to align with the 40s of what happened, the horrible things that happened in that time. And I don't even have to mention it, but people know what happened in the late 30s and the 40s and that awful incident, like world-changing event. So people, when you see that, like that kind of brand, let's say later on, it look like a brand and how developed and how mature it is, you want something, you're using it as an example. You're trying to get, like you need to do the problem. You're trying to skip steps and you want something that you're not understanding your plight in this. And I know it sounds, jumbled right now, so let me explain it better. I just think that people of color need to realize that the hands we've been dealt is not the same cards others been dealt. So we can't keep expecting that their outcome. We didn't have the same problem, the same suffering, the same history. First of all, they know where they were. They know what landmass they were on. They're not guessing. They don't need to take the DNA test. They know what land their ancestors was on. We're told stories that take us somewhere out of our land.
Yeah, but
that take us somewhere else and around the world. But I don't think Joe Rogan is wrong. I don't think he's wrong.
Some black people, they say, "Oh, everybody was from Africa." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's because it seems like power. See, esteem, Africa. You see the land. It's nothing but black people, black presidents. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna claim that. And notice everyone claims Egypt the most, or some place where they believe there was a legendary kingdom. Everybody was a king and queen. It's fake. No one ever would. No, all white folks wasn't king and queens. They were subjects. They were squires. They were people that traveled and brought back plants from other places. There was navigators. Like everybody in the military don't get a gun and go shoot. Most people are filling up planes, cleaning the deck, cooking food, stitching clothes, helping people in a crisis center that got mental problems because of what they saw. That's what most people are doing. Most of them aren't killers, but when they all get back, they tell you some killer story, like they were in the midst of it. They're lying. Everybody marched with Dr. King. They're lying.
All right.
Because it's cool. It comes like, you know.
Okay. Let's get back to the word itself.
The word itself and Joe Rogan, the topic. We got all over the place.
Is it a blanket statement? Like white people just shouldn't say the N-word?
What do we get from that?
I'm just asking.
What's the victory in that?
I'm just saying. People are offended by this. Should that just be what it is? No,
because do you hear the storyline? Do you ever hear
so you think
people
white
of Jewish
people
faith
should say the N-word?
I think that people are going to say what they want, and we can't start regulating language like that. It's impossible. You're not going to be able to regulate language like that.
Well, they can say it with themselves. They can say it
and not just with
doors.
emotional reaction. What's the leverage? Where do you have leverage to shut? Because they do have groups that can shut down words, right? If you say things. So now, where's your leverage? You got to have leverage in the argument. You can't win without leverage. You got to have something. Like you said, some dudes are stupid. They be like, yo, tell a bitch get out, and she just leave. You thought you ain't have no leverage. You had no leverage in the relation, and vice versa. Dudes do it too. Girls be like, get out. Dudes leave immediately. Like, okay, that ain't nothing.
But if black people are complaining that white people are using the N-word, that gives.
They've been complaining. People, but see, it's ignorant to me. You'll complain that they're using the N-word, but not really that you're just giving away culture. If I told you I listen, which I do, I have classical music, like that's white music, country music, that's white music. Even though it's our music that we gave to the world, we throw away stuff and we let people in, and we think it's cute when a little Asian kid is dancing like Michael today and b-boxing and b-boying and b-girling in Asia. But when we did it, it was looked at as crazy. So, because we create culture. We are culture navigators and culture creators. That's what we are. We're the fucking Eternals. But we're also a gift and a curse, because we toss it all away and let anybody have it. And then we're the kid that when we done playing with the toy and somebody picked that toy up, that's when we want that toy back. White people picked up the toy. Now they going to dance like Michael Jackson? Like, but we threw it away. All the Def Comedy Jam, Michael Jackson's a molester, all of that, all the jokes, we killed them. Black folks killed Michael's image more than the white media.
All right. We going back. Stick to the word.
Let's get back to Joe Rogan. Let's get back
to not just Joe Rogan, just the word itself.
The word, the N-word itself. Nigga, right? I think that comedians performing from the majority white audiences, and they say it all the time. What Cedric say? I wish a nigga would. Yeah. He said I saw him at the casino, Foxwoods. Beautiful. That man is incredible live, and he did the same bits in front of them, and them white folks was dying. They love it, and I was laughing too. So it's like we feel like we're not on equal levels, so that's why we're really fighting for that word. And if we really want to protect such words, then we need to have some leverage. Where's your system? Where's your organization? Not just a movement. Look, think about it. Black Lives Matter movement. Movements end. People stop moving at some point, get too old to move. The civil rights movement ended. Movements die. Movements end. We need to find a lifestyle. Like an actual thing things that benefit us from the roots, so we don't just got our hand out. What are we doing besides producing like criminalistic mentalities, acting like we don't give a damn about each other's life until somebody from another race destroys it? We could slaughter 100,000 N-words a year, but you ever seen this much uproar for dead rappers this year? You get a few that's special. Like an uproar like you seen about Joe Rogan.
No,
that's what I'm saying. People are more excited and animated about Joe Rogan saying nigga in Planet of the Apes than they are about all of these rappers dying. Yes, but it's not wilder than these kids spinning these blocks and blowing each other away. That's very wild. That's just a crazy comedian.
Yes.
Who said something wild, but he's more intellectual than that. He know what he's got to do. He's got people around him.
So how do you think he will fix this situation, or it's already done? Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's gonna.
I don't think he has to. I think in all the excitement, Joe Rogan's grown bigger. Black folks ain't do nothing but make him bigger. You made him Venom. He was Spider-Man at first. We put the black suit out, not me and you. They, whoever participated in it, put that black Venom symbiote on Joe Rogan now. Now you can never get rid of him because you've made him a martyr. You've made him a martyr to lunatics that he don't even necessarily want in his audience, but he'll take their money, their view. So now you made him a martyr. You made him the new Rush Limbaugh. Go ahead and keep going. He's going to keep rising up. You're going to keep feeding him. Just like you did with the Clippers guy. He left with $3 billion. And they said, oh, we got him. That's how we get people. We make them beyond wealthy. That's crazy. Whoopi ain't making money off of her stint. She gone. She ain't making no extra money. I'm sure she's making her contract. But they may pull up some stipulations to say if you embarrass the brand, a lot of them contracts have that. You know that Sp8ghost where they say if you embarrass the brand, they can then start, dividing something, taking something, subtracting, saying, well, we have the right. Them contracts are lengthy. And maybe she's embarrassed the brand to the point where she may not get a full contract. I don't, you know, that type of stuff. Real. Hopefully,
you're going back into something else. The
yeah.
I just
all over the place.
I just want to focus on the word.
The
So
N word, the N word.
I think I
don't
get
think
your stance. I think I get where you're coming from, but not.
I think people need to calm down. We got too much shit going on. We don't stop thinking that you got to do something better than anybody else.
Do you think that's just because you've never heard a white person say it to your face?
No, not necessarily because of that either. Because I've seen other people's experience in my own household, people that have experienced, and I've seen their reactions to it, and I've seen people in the household challenge them to that reaction.
How?
Who the hell are you?
Can you explain it? Can you break it down?
My uncle. Okay. Yeah, my uncle Daryl, who was a police officer, and he had some incidences in a precinct in Brooklyn where he dealt with some racism. The cops were being, you know what I mean, like they started off subtle. He said he couldn't tell. Now, mind you, I'm younger, so I'm hearing it and I'm observing everything like a sponge. But so he's going to work, he's doing his thing. It's like busting balls, pause at first, right? That's what they call it, busting balls. I'm just busting your, but it's aggressive and it's consistent and it's nonstop. And when he shows he's not in the mood, it doesn't matter. Now so he could tell that something was wrong, and eventually he spoke up. And they said sometimes these niggas give a nigga a badge and nigga think he tough. That's the phrase. Give a nigga a badge, nigga think he tough. So he's outraged. He come home. White dude said it to him. So he's home. My grandfather hear him, let him get it all out his chest. My grandfather let him get all that shit off his heart. And then when he said to him, so you Pinocchio. Everybody's silent, like, what the fuck you mean Pinocchio? He said, you Pinocchio. And we're all trying to, like, a puzzle. Like, what the fuck? Is he losing his mind already? He said, no, because that white boy, you're Geppetto. He put some strings on you and just made you get so fucking animated that you're in my house at this time yelling and screaming, ranting and raving over a goddamn word. Over a word. He animated you. He put strings on you and controlled you. All the other shit he did, you paid no mind. He said that one word. That man been disrespecting you. And you had nothing to say until he said that fucking word. And that was his point.
Sometimes that's all it takes, though.
Yeah, but you ate shit for so long. Why didn't you defend yourself then before it got to cancer? Why'd you wait for it to turn up as a lump in you somewhere?
Because
when you knew it was disrespect. You knew it was disrespect from the jump. But we like to give people so many chances.
Those didn't hurt. You understand what I'm saying? Like
right.
Or
did he want to fit in? So he took it like, man. Okay, maybe, you know, and this is my uncle, and I don't care, it's real. Like, maybe from his being a cop, maybe thinking like, yo, I'm new. I got, you know what I mean? I'm on the job. Yo, that the guys, you know, maybe they just playing, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. So maybe he did give him benefit of the doubt. But at some point, he felt that it was weird. And it got to that point where that guy got that comfortable with you, because that's what they do. They warm you up. Real racists don't just come at you hard. They bait you. They get you. They warm the stove up. They you know how you're supposed to put the pot on hot and then turn it down to get the noodles soft, make sure they cooked right. That's what they do. They cook you right. And when they get that reaction out you, they like, I got him. He reacted to every stereotype that we ever created. Thus, now he's tagged. He's marked. He is what I say he is now because I can make him whatever. All I got to do is say one word. All I got to do is show on TV one cop killing one black kid, and that could change the country for months.
All right.
Get shit shut down.
Getting back to the word. All right, thank you, Dupree, man. I didn't know I was going to get all this when I called you, but thank you for
but don't stress that. Don't be so outraged about Joe Rogan saying or any of them saying what they said. You should be more out.
I'm not out.
Yeah, be more outraged at the
I don't get outraged. Me, you know me, I don't get outraged.
Yeah.
I just see things and I question it. That's my nature. I question it first. So I just see what's going on and I say, why is this going on?
So before I go, let me ask you, should Joe Rogan be canceled?
He's impossible to cancel. Anybody, to me.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible for anybody to be canceled. I think people are gonna have their groups of people that support them, and people are gonna have their groups of people that don't support them. There's no
cancel culture is fake news.
there's no cancel culture. It's just some people don't rock with you, so now you gotta go do something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the establishment is the reason why this is happening is because the establishment can't cancel him. They can't fire him from somewhere. They can't. You know what I'm saying? They take him off Spotify. He can just pop up and do it on his own somewhere else. He could make his own website.
They're making him a god.
He could do.
They're making him a god, and people love seeing gods fall. That's what they think they want to see, and it won't happen the way you think.
To me, I think it's deeper than that. I think he had the vaccines talk, and it fucked with their agenda. It fucked with their agenda, so they found a way to try to get him out of here.
Yo, look, see, when I say that shit all the time, and it's similar, but I'll get off it quick because I know you're staying on the N word. Yeah. But I feel like people like Mariah Carey has been under attack when they see him perform live, and a crazy performance that's well paid for, and then her audio goes out, and we get to hear audio of her sounding horribly. I just ask myself, I don't know if it's the right answer, I ask myself, how much of music or publishing does Mariah own? And how many enemies did that create? Who wants to embarrass Mariah and hurt her brand? Because that doesn't happen. I know shows and mistakes happen. This is Mariah Carey. Space, you know how shows go. That's a top-notch show. It doesn't get too much bigger than a Mariah Carey show.
I don't see the appeal of Mariah Carey the way everybody else does. I just don't see the appeal of Mariah Carey the way everybody else does. But I seen Michael Jackson buying people's masters. I seen Prince telling people to be independent.
And it creates problems.
I seen Marvin Gaye doing what he did, and I just see where that goes.
Sam Cooke.
All the people who try to fight this establishment, especially in the entertainment, it goes a different way sometimes.
It's not what people think. It's not what you're watching on TV and copying and learning. Most people learn how to pretend to be famous before they actually practice their skill set. It's a business out there, man. You can sing as good as you want, but if you don't know that business and have connections and the right people in the right places, even then, you're still bound to get a raw dog. That's just the truth. But, yo, the N-word, good show, man. Like, I like that you're covering this topic. This is fire. And I just think people should back up off of it. Leave people alone. Let people speak. Just speak how you feel. Let Joe Rogan say, if that's how Joe Rogan feels, let him speak it. If you feel differently, speak your part. But we can't start killing speech.
All right, thank you for picking up my call, man.
Not at all, man. It's not a problem, man. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dupreme.
All right.
That was Dupreme. Shout out to Dupreme, man. I know you people on the live chat don't fuck with Dupreme for whatever reason, but Dupreme's a good nigga, man. I said the word. I said nigga, but Dupreme's a good guy. He's a good guy. He does his thing. I would like to hear from y'all. If y'all want to call in and talk, we could talk. But it's just a complicated subject. It's a complicated subject. I could do this show for fucking 5 hours. I want to hear a female's perspective on this, and I know this person is like, take down Joe Rogan. I know this person is like, take down Joe Rogan. Fuck this guy. I know this person is. It's a friend of mine, another one, but let's see if she answers the phone. But I know, like, she's on a different thing. She's on a different type of time. She's like, she ain't fucking with this Joe Rogan shit. Cancel him, get him out of here, all that. So let's find out why. I just want to know why. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to know why. You know? Let's see if Chanel answers. This is my friend Chanel that I'm calling. Let's see if she answers. She might be at work. I don't know what's going on with people. I blindly call people, so they just probably doing whatever the fuck they doing, you know? Let's see.
Hi.
All right, she didn't pick up, so I guess she's busy. She might call back, but you guys feel free to call. Let me try to find somebody else, but I don't know. Let's see what you guys say. Police have the blue wall of silence. They do. Should you talk about my mom's, I'll be Pinocchio too. Yeah, sometimes a white person saying the N-word is the spark that leads to you, like, wanting to do some shit to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's that easy. Sometimes it's like, yo, I need this. This happened, and I don't know. Sometimes it just happens that way. It's a spark. They say, nigga, get him out of here. Fuck this dude. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna fight him. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that. Let's see who we could call. Let's see. Get another phone. Feel free to call up. 914-801-7866 is the number to call. I'm trying to figure out who would be a good person to talk to about this. Let me see. Let's try to call my guy Heineken. Try to call my guy Heineken, see if he picks up. Let me see. Let's see if Heineken picks up. Shout out to Heineken. Math Hoffa Podcast. If you know who Heineken is. Is this number worked up at the right number? Let's see. See if this works. Hold on. Getting a thing on the side. I don't know, man. White people can't say nigga. Black people can't say nigga. Who knows?
Please leave your message for 8.
Yeah, I think that his phone is off. I'm praying shut the fuck up. Let's see what everybody's saying. What a space called the token. Talking about having black people available for the Joe Rogan podcast. To have black people available for the Joe Rogan podcast as he's saying these things. Let's call somebody who has a lot of white friends. Let's see that. Let's see that dynamic. Let's call somebody else who has a lot of white friends. See if he picks up. Let's see. You can also call in and we can talk. I just like to call people during the show.
Hello?
Stan.
Yo.
Stan, what's up with Space?
What's going on?
What's going on, Stan? Are you busy?
Not really. What's up?
Okay. So I'm doing, I do a show by myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I call people and I try to get their opinions on things.
Okay.
How do you feel about the Joe Rogan comments? But first off, before you get there, when was the first time you've heard somebody say the N-word?
Like derogatory, like in a bad way?
Just any time. The first time you've heard of the word.
I don't know. I was young.
How young? You don't remember?
No, I was probably like 6.
Like 6. So it was
Yeah.
It was from a white person?
Yeah.
Can you explain the story? Can you tell the story?
It was like first grade. It was just a kid in school.
In first grade, a kid in school a white kid called you the N-word.
Yeah, I went to school uptown. Like all the kids from Riverdale went to the Baptist school.
You can't explain right now. You seem like you can't explain right now.
No, I mean it was just the kid came to school and said it. He was like I was the only black kid in the school, like basically. And he was like, oh, he came to school, probably heard it from somebody. He was like, oh, you're, told me the N-word.
Okay. And you didn't feel no type of way, or you didn't understand?
I was young. It wasn't really something that kind of like, it wasn't until I was older that I was like, well, okay. And then, you know, as I got older, you hear it like other places. You hear it like, I'm sorry. No, I don't think so. So yeah, it was never like something like I can't remember when it was ever something that like somebody said it to me and then like I don't know. It's weird because I'm, you know, being in New York, you hear it all the time.
Yeah. So how you feel about the Joe Rogan comments? Why everybody's in an uproar? Do you think he's getting
Honestly,
canceled?
don't care.
You don't care.
I mean, here's the thing. Joe Rogan is a comedian from Massachusetts. Like, if he didn't say it, I'd be surprised. Like, it's like, I'm not surprised by it. I don't really care. I don't want him to get canceled. I don't think he will. It's just not something that it's not something that, I'm not gonna say it doesn't bother me. Like, I mean, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't really affect my day to day. It's not like Joe Rogan is holding a spot for me that I could get. You know, it's just he is who he is. It doesn't shock me. You know, I don't think he's gonna get canceled, but like, because at this point he's like above that. Like, what's he like? He does arenas. He does theaters. He doesn't need to go to clubs. He doesn't need to.
I hear you. But let's just focus on the usage of the N word. Do you think white people just shouldn't say that? This blanket statement, white people don't say it.
Yeah.
In no
100%.
circumstance.
No, of course not.
So even if they're singing a song, they shouldn't say the N word.
I mean, I think there's nuance to it. I just. I mean, personally, I like if you're singing a song, I don't know, like, what song is worth it where you're just like, man, I have to say the N word in the song. Like at what point?
Niggas
like, you know
ain't
what I mean?
shit
Like,
but hoes and tricks. There's so many songs that say the
yeah,
N word.
But is it worth? I'm saying, is it worth saying it?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I don't like that's the thing that's like, all right, like. If I mean, I don't think white people should say it. But I would say I don't think white people should say it in that way, like in a derogatory way, obviously.
Yeah, but if a white person came up to you, yo, what up, my nigga? How would you feel?
Yeah, people, fine, because people do that all the time.
White people.
Yeah.
You just let white people say that one.
What am I supposed to do?
Just punch them in their face like everybody else wants you to.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I mean, I don't know if you've been following what's happening to me, but I got pepper sprayed the other night.
Yeah.
Because a guy said it to me, and when I went to check him, he's fucking pepper sprayed me.
So now you're like, fuck it, just let him say it.
I mean, I'm not. I got bigger things to worry about than what people want to say. If somebody else wants to fight him, by all means, go for it. But dude, I'm so like just over it at this point. I just don't care.
Got you.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm exhausted by it. Like,
you've been fighting this fight for too long.
Right. Like friends of mine that I've known for almost 20 years say it. White guys. And I'm just like, well, all right, man. I'm tired of having the conversations like, well, I don't mean it that way. I'm tired of having that conversation. If somebody wants to say it, let them say it. If they want to, you know, I let other people fight that fight. I'm done.
I'm with you, Stan. Salute to you. Thank you for picking up the call, man.
Yeah, of course.
You get back to doing whatever you was doing. I didn't know what you was doing.
I actually got to call back a lawyer because I'm like my eye is fucked up.
From the pepper spray?
Yeah.
Oh man, get better soon, man. Let me
Thank
know,
you.
man. Call me next time, man. I would have showed up, man.
All right.
All right.
All right. Later, man.
All right, Stan. That was Stan. He got pepper sprayed by a racist white guy, man. This shit ain't over, man. Racism is not dead. Racism is not dead. It's alive and well. It's alive and well today, man. It's fucking crazy, man. I want to hear from a black woman though. Like that's what I'm trying to hear from. Who's this? Yo,
Yo, what's going on, Sp8ghost?
what's going on, bro?
Ain't nothing, man. I want to chime in on the topic.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I think I think he should be canceled, man, because if you're a public figure or whatever, and you're reaching out to a broad audience, you shouldn't be able to say it. Now, I say that why I say this. Only in my lifetime, I only probably heard a white person say nigga probably maybe about 4 times my whole life. I'm 36 or whatever. So the few people that I did hear it, it was a crazy lady. She was like out of her mind and shit. And the other 2 or 3 people I said they were in a nigga situation, like they were in poverty. They grew up around everybody, so it was a little more accepted. He's not from our situation.
Wait.
From our
Why would you say that he was in a nigga situation?
I mean, they grew up in poverty. They grew up just like we did.
Why would you say that's a nigga situation?
I mean, we in that we call each other nigga, you know what I mean? My nigga or whatever, that, and the third. They grew up in that same neighborhood and those same situations to give you.
Yeah, but not all niggas, as you put it, grew up in that situation.
I mean, if you in most situations where we call each other niggas, that is in that situation. Like if I'm in a different setting, I'm not going to utter that word, unless we in a smaller group. But in our situation, if we're in our setting and in our environment and element, then it's free to fly. Joe Rogan isn't from where we're from, and plus, also too, I know that a lot of people saying, well, if he can say it, if we can say it, he can say it. If me and you are homeboys and you come past my crib, I may allow you to go into my refrigerator. But if it's a person that came tagged along with you, he's not going to be able to go into my refrigerator. So it's different strokes for different folks. It's different. People been canceled for, black people have been canceled back in the day. Canceled, not only canceled, but murdered for less. You know what I mean? So we like nowadays, we can't say much about the LGBT. I dare, like in Living Color, somebody tried to do maybe the handyman bit, or
I think it's possible because it's comedy and it's not really, as long as you're not being offensive. And I don't even think those comedy bits were offensive towards gay people, to be honest. Right,
they weren't when we were watching it, but it's a different time and a different day.
Yeah, but I've never heard a gay person say that they were offended by those things.
Right, I haven't either. But at the same time, they're taking what Kevin Hart said on Twitter, or somebody said on Twitter back in the day, and they're bringing it up, and they're destroying you and taking you out of here.
But you got to ask yourself, who are these people that are doing these things? Because these are
right.
The Kevin Hart thing happened when he turned down the Oscars. Like certain situations, when they don't get their way, they find a reason to come at these people. Joe Rogan is going through it now because of the vaccine situation. So it's like,
I mean, but also too, it's the group that we can't. Going back to the LGBT thing with Kevin Hart, your group, whatever group that they planning on, we didn't hear a rebuttal come from the LGBT group saying that we didn't say that. They didn't say that or whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
If I just feel like in certain settings, man, like homeboys and friends and close friends, you're able to do and say, if you're from that environment, then I think if we heard, even though he does have a way he says that, but I think it wasn't that much of an uproar when Eminem said it, because we feel like he's from where we're from. You know what I mean? he's not black, but he's walking in some of our same footsteps, so we allow it. But Joe Rogan, he's not from our footsteps, so it has a different spin to it when he says it, opposed to if Eminem says it, or if you said it, or if I said it. You know what I mean? It has a different, and it's who it's coming from, what color of the person it comes from. I mean, it's a mixed bag of things, but I do ultimately feel like, he should take some reprimand from doing whatever he did, saying whatever he said, because of, not coming from where we're coming from. We can't understand it coming out of his mouth. Like if we heard Tupac say nigga, we can understand it coming from his mouth. Or even if, like you asked the other guy.
In the context of where he was saying it, they were explaining language and they were talking about words, and then they talked about nigga. That's how all the conversations where he said the word, how it was in phrase. So it was just like, because he's white and he said the word, black people are upset. But white people buy black music, they sing black songs. They're not allowed to say nigga when they sing it.
Yeah, I give it. If I say repeat after me, then that's what I want you to do. If you buy my records, it's basically I want you to repeat after me. But at the same time, they have other ways of saying it. They'll say the N word. You done heard other commentators
but when you're singing a Kanye song or something, he don't say the N word. He just say nigga, and they gonna sing nigga.
If it's a record, then it's all good, because
that makes it okay.
Yeah, if it's a record, if we're singing along and we're at a concert.
But where's the cutoff? Like, where's the cutoff? If somebody is writing it as a document explaining nigga, or they're writing a story, writing a script, and then a white person types nigga in the script, is he wrong for writing that? Like,
no,
where's the cutoff?
It's who's saying it. It's a mixed bag. It's who's saying it. Where it comes from. I mean, you got to analyze a lot of things of that person who's saying it. Is he saying it in a derogatory way, or is he saying it in an uplifting way? Is he one of us? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that got to be
it's context,
but
that is
you have a lot of context. Yeah, a lot of context you have to look at it in, but also too. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you heard podcasters or other white people from that club that will say, instead of saying nigga, they would say the N-word, because they know they don't want to be offensive. I think he's pushing his boundaries too far. And
all that stuff is old. He hasn't said it.
Right.
He hasn't said it probably in like 2 years. So all that shit, he has over 1,000 podcasts. He's gonna say nigga if he's talking about the word. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, but we have seen it in cases where they replaced it with just saying the N word.
I understand.
You know what I mean? So
I understand, but sometimes pussyfooting around the actual word sounds stupid. It do.
It
Especially
does,
when you're talking about, like, I can understand, like, the Planet of the Apes shit. That shit is fucking wild. What he said. That was wild.
See that in concert with him saying the N word. Now he
but they put it together. They put it together. That Planet of the Apes shit was like fucking the beginning of this podcast.
I know it wasn't the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. But it's technically it's not the same person saying it. Technically, like, if you went back 20 years or 5, even 3 years into your history and the shit you said, you probably be like, damn, I probably would have never said that.
Right, but if I'm a public figure,
that don't mean shit. Public figures are people too. Public figures are people too.
I know that people too, definitely. They're more scrutinized because of who they are, but also you get paid for people listening to you, and so you have to take on to that opinion. We also have a choice.
I hear what you're saying, but we're in a new day, and I respect people for being upfront and being real.
Right.
I don't respect what they was doing, then we could just go back to the fucking 70s and look at TV and see how people made a mockery and try to pussyfoot around real shit instead of just like when Richard Pryor came out. When Richard Pryor came out, it was like a shock to everybody, and he was just talking like us. He was just talking.
Right.
So it's at some point you have to adjust your thinking and the way you're listening to things, and entertainment does that, and it has to do that. And I don't condone the Planet Ape shit is wild. There was another shit that was wild too, but every time he said nigga, they were in conversations about the word and about the fucking. They were talking the same way me and you were talking about saying the N-word.
But that's what I'm saying. Who was? I don't accept it from him.
Just because he's white.
If it was no, not because he's white. Because that's like I said in the earlier conversation. If it was Eminem, I'd be more accepted to it because of who he is.
Because he grew up around black people.
I don't want it from him.
Who's to say Joe Rogan wasn't around black people either, though?
I mean, that's not public information. We know Eminem grew up in hip hop.
I mean, he was on tour with Dave Chappelle. That. He was doing shit. He's doing shit with black people. He's around black people. He is.
But he also has a white tone to his talk. So you know he's white.
He's white.
We're not going to make excuses for him. Right. We're not going to make excuses for him. He's white through and through. You know he's not where we're from, just from the conversation and how he carried. Not saying that that's wrong, but he can't. I don't want to hear that conversation from him when it's millions of other, not just saying black.
So white people are just not even allowed to have the conversation.
No, because I mean, yeah, they are. If you're from where we're from, if it's accepted. Like if I'm your brother, right, blood brother, and I say, "Goddamn, Sp8ghost, your goddamn feet stink."
Mm-hmm.
You might say, "Man, fuck you, man, get out of here." But if I'm a nigga
but I would respect that because you're my brother. You're supposed to say that.
But if I'm a random nigga and you know your feet don't stink, if I saying in a joke, just walking down the street, I say, "Goddamn, nigga, you stinky feet ass nigga," you might want to start fighting. So the context should be it gets more accepted from who the person is. I mean, like I said, it's a bag of things that goes into that, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, with that conversation, even though it's not new, you know, that conversation was getting a little too loose to where you're going to a boundary where I can't talk about things or start to ponder on things. I can ponder, but I can't talk about things or explain things that I have no knowledge of or have no approval.
The main reason why I'm doing this show is to talk about things that I know nothing about. That's how you learn, by just talking and asking questions about things you know nothing about.
Right, but you're getting approval because of who you are. You are, at the end of the day, from my point of view, from your point of view, friends or whatever, you are a nigga, so you're able to speak about it. But he can't speak about without having. I would see if he had Dave Chappelle with him.
Probably, yeah.
He was helping him.
But that would make it okay because he has Dave Chappelle sitting right there. So
I mean,
if he said the word nigga,
it would probably go a little smoother. But like I said, I don't want to hear that from him, from Joe Rogan at all. Like that subject, it's certain subjects, and he had. I mean, not saying to limit your topics or whatever, but it's certain things that you know that you shouldn't even touch on because you know that.
Yeah, but you got. He's doing a show. He's doing a show for 3 hours. They getting high. They smoking. They chilling. So he's gonna talk how he talks.
Right.
It just is what it is.
And for him, that's fair. But also he has to take.
I hear that, but in context,
right.
It's not really wrong what he said. He's not supposed to, but he ain't wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a slippery slope.
I mean, dry and cut white people, like I said, it's not wrong for what they say, but we're not. the public is not wrong for calling for his cancellation either. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I hear you. So when was the first time you heard the word nigga?
First time I heard the word nigga was actually from my aunt. Like I said, I ain't heard it from white people many times in my lifetime. But the first time I heard it was from my aunt. Like, I may have heard it before then, but the first time it ever stuck out because it was repeatedly said was from my aunt. The first time I heard it was from a white person was, because I'm from Virginia, man. I'm from Hampton Roads, and the first time I heard it was we was on the ocean front, and it was a crazy lady, and she was just screaming out nigga, nigga, nigga. And it didn't like, it wasn't a shock. It was more funny as shit, to hear her say it, but. But also the first time, like I said, the first time I heard it said repeatedly was from my aunt, and I was probably about 2 or 3 when I first heard it. But like I said, it's who it's come from, man. I mean, I enjoy Joe Rogan's podcast. It's very informative, but some information you don't want to. I don't want to hear about Black History Month or a black culture or black matters from somebody who isn't, I may be able to hear it from them, but it may seep in more deeper from a face that's like mine. You know what I mean? Who's saying those things? If it's something of the white culture, then that I want to hear something from, then maybe he can enlighten me about camping. He can enlighten me about fishing or whatever the outdoorsy shit that he does. He can enlighten me, but using the word nigga and trying to explain something, he was totally out of pocket to me. And I don't want to call for his death. I don't want to see him get beat up or punched in the face, but, it's certain boundaries you shouldn't cross. And he knows, as being a man, a white man, knowing, how that could come across, even if he's in the living room with his friends. I feel like he just brought us too closer into the living room with his friends, knowing that he's on a public platform.
I get it.
It's
a compilation of things. It's a mixture of things.
Right. It definitely is.
And they just put it all together and they throw it on him. But I think I think the Planet Ape shit is wild. I say that, but I don't think he's really that guy.
That in concert with the nigga, it kind of.
It's like a perfect storm to get this nigga out of here.
Right. And he gotta live with that. Spotify ain't gonna take him off anyway because
they can't. They're not gonna take. They're saying nigga in all the music. So what are we talking about here?
Right. I don't mind a white person saying. I mean, I was just riding past. A girl just rode past me and she was listening to Cardi B. I'm pretty sure it's like 100 niggas and that didn't. That doesn't faze me if you're saying it. If I'm telling you to say nigga and you're listening to my music and I want you to sing it so you can like it more, you can buy more of my records, that's cool. I'm cool with that. But if you're explaining on my behalf and you're not from where we're from, then...
Well, he wasn't explaining. He's discussing. He's discussing. He's like, there's certain words that you can't say. He's like, and those... And he's even talking about... He's not, he's saying spick. He's saying all the words. He's not just saying...
Right.
He's not just singling out nigga. He's singling out nigga as the thing like, oh, but you really can't say this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And he can't. He knows better. He knows that.
But to condemn a man for stating the facts is kind of crazy to me.
Right. I mean, he's saying things that we already know for some time now, and I mean that's what I'm saying. He kind of took us in his living room too. He like you say, he might have took too many shrooms, smoking too many blunts.
Yeah, I hear you.
Drinking too much liquor, and took us into a living room and forgot them cameras was rolling. And I don't want him to get beat up. I still want to see him continue to do his podcast, but he also has to. He has to answer to.
His next guest has to be black. That's what's gonna happen.
It has to be. He has to dig up.
He gotta have Killer Mike or Mike Son. He gotta have a really black nigga on it.
Yeah, he gotta have to dig up somebody the blackest of the black.
He just gotta have a Killer Mike. My Son has to come on and explain somebody
Somebody to, because I mean, like I say, I'm pretty sure everybody who's taking up when we listen to his podcast is pretty dope. Like I like it, I really like it. Like I downloaded Spotify just for that. You know what I mean? For to listen to his podcast or whatever. So it's kind of fucked up the way it's going. But you know, once you accept those, I mean, I'm not saying that it's fair. But once you accept those checks, you gotta accept the ass kicking that comes with the bad doing that you do too. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you, Ben, for calling.
Because we one more thing, and we do have a choice. Podcasters and celebrities do have a choice. They can be a plumber, they can be a cable man, but you know, you once you become a podcaster or any celebrity known figure, you gotta take what you get. So appreciate you, Space Ghost, for letting me on, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. I appreciate you for calling, man.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I still want to speak to a black woman because I feel like black women are so angry about this topic. I really do. And I want to speak to a black woman about this. I was going to call my friend Betty to see if she will answer on this topic. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Today, VUM. I don't know what that means. Salute to you, bro. Salute to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody that called up. All right, salute to people that picked up. Hello. 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 Betty. Thinks her butt picked up the phone. What's going on? Let me call her back. Hold on. I think her butt picked up the phone by accident or something. You know how that happens. I'm trying to get a black woman on this, man. I would love to hear a black woman's perspective on the N-word. Because I know black men's perspective on N-word. I know white men's perspective on N-word. I need a black woman's perspective. You know what I'm saying? Try to get her back. She picked up. I think her butt picked up. Puff Daddy, call up. Call up.
Hello?
Hi, Betty.
Yeah, who's this?
How you doing, Betty? This is Space Ghost. You may know me from certain shows like Porn Space.
Oh my God. What? Oh my God.
What's going on, Betty? How are you?
I'm good. You calling me on random number?
I'm sorry. I'm on a show right now. We're live.
This sounds like a setup. Oh,
this
God.
is not a setup. It's not a setup. This is a beautiful thing. I've been trying to get a black woman's perspective on this matter. I know how black people feel. I know how white people feel. I just wanted to get a black woman's perspective, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You sound annoyed already.
I'm not annoyed. I just don't know what I'm walking into.
Okay, all right. It's easy. When was the first time you heard somebody say the N-word?
You said the first time?
The first time.
I mean, yeah, probably. I would say somewhere with. I don't know. Maybe middle school. I went to a Catholic private school in Maryland, so yeah, that might have been the first time that I heard it. I definitely didn't hear it in my house, that's for sure.
You heard it. So the first time you presume that you heard the N-word was in school. Was it a white person or a black person?
No, it was a black person, but it's just, like I think it was just me just overhearing people talking, You just at school when you hear people referring to each other as that, they were black. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. But I mean, again, I'm coming from an African household. That's not like a like on page 1 of African dictionary in the as far as manners and respect and all that stuff. So
how do Africans feel about the N word? That's a good thing. I didn't really think of that.
I mean, our parents definitely. I mean, I know for sure my parents, like, they were never and still are never on board. It's just, I mean, a lot of my friends' parents are all kind of like in the same vein of it. To them, it just seems just like a disrespectful way to refer to somebody. They don't see it the same way, but we were born here. So for us, it's like saying that to my friend, I just mean that in all, whether I'm mad or happy, sad, whatever it is, it's just like, it's just another way to say, like, my friend in whatever state of mind I might be in.
So when did you find out that did you always know that white people are not allowed to say this? Did you find out later? Did you like?
Well, that stuff I probably didn't catch until I would hear it and I didn't really understand. And then I think I remember just kind of like looking it up, like on the internet, just out of curiosity. And then finally, you ask your Black friends, because I didn't have a lot of friends at that point in my life. And then, they would kind of say what they said. And then, you put 2 and 2 together with the history of this country. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. I see how this can be felt in a weird way. But I mean, I grew up in a Black county. So for us, again, it's like a term of endearment. I know that for a lot of people it sounds wrong, but I mean, you just say it to your friends, you say it to people that would receive it well. I'm not going to throw it out there to somebody's parents, because whether they're Black or African, everybody's parents also don't receive that word the same way, depending on what, generation and what state they grew up in. So everybody's got a different perspective on it. But I think the first time that I ever had anybody, well, now when I think about it, that I had somebody ever use that word, like,
negatively,
aggressively, Oh, no, not recently. I mean, it was probably when I went to Alabama State.
I said negatively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time I went to Alabama, I was there for a year, and that was the first time that I ever experienced somebody saying it at me, and it just made me feel, it just makes you feel like it was just wrong.
What was the story?
What's
the story behind that?
I think we were in Montgomery. Well, the school was in Montgomery, but we drove to the other side of town. It was also the first time I ever lived anywhere that still felt segregated. Okay. I don't know what Montgomery is like now, but me and my friends were like, we're going to go to the mall. And I was like, cool. And we went to this mall, and then you felt the change in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh, I feel like we're like in a presumably whiter area. So we go into the mall, and that's like the first time that, like, I experienced people following me in the store, checking to see if I was stealing anything. Or, feeling like people just staring at. It was just weird. I was like, the first time, and then that's the first time I ever heard people say it under their breath, and it just kind of was like you're in the Twilight Zone, coming from all Black county.
Why did they say it? They just said it like in passing?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. And all my friends that were with me, none of us were from Alabama. So one of my homegirls, she was from Cali. My other homegirl that was with us, she's from Miami. So for the 3 of us, we're like, it's just weird, You got West Coast, East Coast, Southeast. It's just between the 3 of us, we were just like, we just felt the vibe, and I don't think we went back to that mall barely at all. Just because it just all types of unnecessary things happened that day. Like, it was just weird. Secure. It's like, is there nobody else to secure in this mall? Like, why are y'all following us?
Yeah.
Made us feel really sketched. So that wasn't that long ago. That was like 04, 05.
Yeah, racism is alive and well. How do you feel about the Joe Rogan situation that's going on right now? Do you know what's going on?
I haven't. I've seen that he sent out like an apology video, and I don't know. I didn't watch whatever resurfaced about him saying the N-word. And I mean, did they also have a video of, I mean, I feel like they found a lot of other artists and people in the big time that have used that kind of language.
Of course.
And it's just kind of like,
of course,
this is very convenient for whomever it's convenient for. But if somebody apologizes, that's great. Yes, I would never say it again. Or I said that at a very juvenile part of my life, but at the end of the day, whether someone that is not black that uses that word, whether they put it out there in public or they keep it to themselves, based on like how, you know, hip hop culture and our music is, it's kind of hard to avoid saying that word, whether it's in your mind. You know what I mean?
Is it okay for them to sing the word?
I don't think it's okay, but it's almost unavoidable. You
don't think it's okay for them to sing niggas in the song?
No, you shouldn't. But it's been happening. You really shouldn't. But
but what are they supposed to do?
Well, the only difference between maybe 10, 15 years ago to now, people are hyper aware. Like you got that trend on TikTok of the kids, you know, raising their hand. What is it? It's like, do you know what started slavery? And like the white kid raises their hand and says like me. And it's like, it was like a trend. I don't know if it still is on TikTok for Black History Month, but it's like,
I did see that.
Yeah. And then there's like school. I was just watching the news. There's a school in Virginia that for Black History Month, for lunch, in honor of Black History Month, they serve fried chicken. All the kids in that school, for the most part, are white. So all the kids at that school, like, made a huge fuss about it. They put on the news, and everybody might think it's cheesy, it's not real. And I'm like, no, these kids are hyper aware. They just, whether they feel it for real or not, they're not taking that hate with them. So it's going to take more time because people just know too much now. Now it's hard to unsee so many things in the Spanish community, right? Or in the Caribbean community or in the Irish community. There's so many people that get put into a box of segregation, it's like an invisible box of segregation. Like you're just imaginarily by yourself, even though you're amongst millions of people in the globe.
Yeah. It's
kind of crazy, but I mean, the way we have set it up, I feel like a lot of it is because hip-hop culture has been so accepting. So not sure when people get comfortable and they feel like they're accepted in the community, I mean, use the same slang that you do, you know, like when you make new friends and you're in a new town, you start sounding like them. You don't realize, you know, there may be some things that it's not for you, you know, and I'm sure that those things happen more often than not. And I'm sure the black friends to those folks that are not black that say it, I'm sure they don't all say something, you know. They might just be like, hey, man, don't use that. No, don't say that again. They're not putting them out there on social media to blast them out there. I think it's just people learn over time. But, I mean, the excuse before used to be people not understanding the meaning of that word.
But I understand. So just the blanket statement is white people shouldn't say nigga, period.
No.
In no context. There's no context in which a white person, what about if he's a professor and he's explaining the history of the word to his students? Is he not allowed to say it? What if he's writing a script?
I think the only exception might be someone in a movie.
So Leonardo DiCaprio plays a slave owner. He can say nigga all day.
Yeah, I mean, because that art is meant to evoke, you know, some truth and honesty in a really, really dark part of history.
But you gotta understand, a white person wrote that script. So in the script it says nigga. Is that white person wrong for writing nigga in the script?
It depends. For me, it would depend in the context in which they wrote it. Did they write it, you know, like Django? Is it the same as that? If it's Django, then it's like that's a very strong message that you're sending out there, and it's hard for people to unsee or unhear. And that was a great movie, by the way. But if it's somebody that's just creating it to perpetuate more things for us to see and hear that just brings us down, then it's like, I think we're good. I think our tank is full on movies adjacent to things like Roots or any other horrible Amistad, you know, all these films.
I'm sick of the slave
movie.
I'm very sick of the slave movie. I don't want to see another slave movie for at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, the last one, I didn't watch 100 Years a Slave, and I refused to because I was like, I think I'm good. I think I make a pass.
I saw 10 Years a Slave, right?
Yeah.
I saw that movie in the movie theater with white people because black people didn't go out to see it.
Yeah, because we're done. The last slave.
But are white people wrong for watching slave movies?
No, because now whether it's real or not, and who knows the percentage of who's real or
But
not.
what
but
if a white
people
person
wanna know.
enjoys a slave movie? Are they not
I
allowed
don't
to
think-
enjoy a slave movie?
I don't think they're enjoying it. I think they're just, again, I don't know the percentage of who is real and who is not, but I think they just go because they want to know.
So
They
you
wanna-
think white
they wanna
people
learn.
like Django. White people like Django.
Yeah, listen, Django was great. That was like that's the storyline that we want to see more of.
But white people
The black
like
man
it.
that
But
fought
white
back.
people like it. Are they allowed to like Django?
They can like whatever.
Well,
they
Django's a
wanna
bad
like.
example. Are they allowed to like the Nat Turner movie?
You know, I mean, it depends on the context in which they're explaining it. They liked it because of the story, of the message, of what it says, then it's like, yeah, I get it. It's history that's not your history. It's you looking through the looking glass of somebody else.
I feel kind of offended when when white people like slave movies.
I mean, if you coming out the gate and you're like, my favorite movie was Amistad.
I'm not
like,
saying
okay.
favorite, but they be like, I fuck with Amistad. I like it.
Okay, that for me is like that's. I'm gonna go ahead and give
Does
you
it
a
as a
number.
white person? It sounds crazy to me. I'm like, you like to watch a slave being fucking tortured and shit? You like that movie? Like that's how I
Yeah.
feel when I like this. But it's not in context. They're not wrong for liking the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
I
just
think
hard,
everything is
'cause
context, and people put a
It
blank.
is.
I
It
think
is in
putting those
context, and-
blanket statements of white people can't say the N word is kind of crazy to me. It's a little crazy to me.
It depends on the scenario, but I mean, I don't know too many scenarios in where it's okay. I'll say
Singing
that.
a song, writing a script,
Yes.
teaching
I mean,
a class,
listen, I'm sure.
reading a book out loud.
I'm sure when they're singing, I mean, so many rap songs. I'm sure when there's certain songs come on, especially with Jay-Z in the 2000s. Kind of hard to avoid that when you're in the car by yourself. Nobody knows what you're listening to. You do your thing. But I mean, to say that I'm gonna be, you roll your window down and I hear you say it loud and proud, it's like, wow.
So is Joe Rogan canceled because somebody made a compilation of every time he said nigga in context of speaking about the word the same way me and you are?
You know what's crazy about that situation? Because everybody in his circle, people that know him, they know if he did it, again, I hate cancel culture. I am not on that team. I think it's horrible. It's trash. There's a process for different crimes, and let's just allow that process to happen and focus on that as opposed to literally demolishing people's families and characters for eternity. But for him, it's like there are people around him, just like with R. Kelly, there are people that have seen it, have heard it. The question is who is
to be
correcting
honest,
him.
I'm not around him, but I've heard those episodes where he said the word nigga. I heard all the episodes where he said the word nigga. I've heard it.
Yeah, I've never.
And when I'm hearing it,
I mean,
I wasn't offended because in that same context of when he's saying the word, because Joe Rogan sometimes has repeated conversations, and this was a repeated conversation, I guess, 100 and something times. You know what I'm saying? So in that context, he's always explaining it like it'll be a topic of language, or they're talking about a new technology where you put headphones in the ear, and if somebody's speaking Chinese, they'll hear it in English. You know what I'm saying? Like they're speaking in context of language and words, and then he just says nigga. He's like, you can't say chink, you can't say, like, you know what I'm saying? He'll say all the fucking words, but then he'd be like, no, one word you really can't say is nigga. And then it'll be like, now they just took all those episodes, combined it together. Sometimes they did say some Planet of the Apes shit that was wild, but to put all that, it's kind of crazy to me.
It is crazy. I want to understand the motivation behind it coming up now.
Oh, you want to know why? I'll tell you.
Yeah, please.
It's on the heels of him having doctors on there refuting the vaccine.
Oh, the COVID stuff.
Yes.
No,
so it's
that
not a
makes
part of the
sense. So that's it.
It's not a part of the agenda. So it comes out that somebody makes a compilation of him saying the N-word and all this shit comes out.
Okay, so it's a setup.
It's 100% a setup, but it's really.
It's not like it's a lie.
It's not a lie. He said it. He said the word. He's saying the word. Should he not just say it? Maybe, but in the context of the conversations,
maybe not so freely.
In the context of the conversations where he's saying it, I'm not too mad about it. The Planet of the Apes shit, he said some Planet of the Apes shit. That was wild. That was wild. But it is an old episode. It's like episode 10. He has like 1,000 fucking episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not the same person he was back then.
Your point of view is very, unique in the sense of there's not a lot of black people that would have sympathy.
I don't have sympathy.
Not even sympathy, but have understanding.
I could, because you know why? Because I listen to Joe Rogan, so I understand, and I heard him say "nigga" on there. I've heard those episodes, so I'm not.
I've listened to him, and I've never heard him say that.
I've heard it. I've heard him.
I haven't heard every episode. Yeah,
I've heard him. I used to work in a fact. The reason why I do podcasts is because I used to listen to Joe Rogan in a fucking warehouse. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I used to listen to Joe Rogan and Combat Jack, and these like early people before I started, but like in the warehouse, I used to just sit there and listen to him, and I heard him say "nigga," and I wasn't mad about it because of the conversation and the way it was going and the things that was brought up. It's hard to listen to somebody talk for 3 hours and then be like, "Oh yeah, this nigga's a racist," when he said it one time in 3 hours. In a conversation about language with somebody who, you know what I'm saying, who traveled to China, and they're trying to explain how they communicated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. I understand your perspective on it. It's just, the timing and the climate. This is a very dangerous time, and there's certain things like COVID that you just kind of have to stay away from. I think a lot of people have learned from that process because there's just a lot of, like for example, this is not an exact comparison, but the thing with Cosby, right? Okay. There's a documentary that's on Hulu. I have not finished it.
It's on Hulu. Like the documentary came out.
It's on Hulu. It's on Showtime. But it's on, you can, I think Showtime is like already on as an add-on or whatever. Anyway, I was watching it with my brother, my cousin.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to hang up and watch it. I do want to watch it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really good. It's crazy because everybody knew. But it's also, again, back to the point of when things like this come out and you realize how it's been like that, Harvey Weinstein, there's a lot of other people in the industry, just all these things, people coming out saying such and such had assaulted me and, did things that they shouldn't have done. They're all wrong. But with Cosby, conveniently, his situation did happen when he was trying to purchase a broadcasting network, NBC. So it's like still everything wrong what he did.
Everything happens like
it was
when
convenient
people are
at that time.
It's always convenient. Always.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff for me is also like
the Dave Chappelle shit. It was convenient. Yeah. The fucking Joe Rogan shit is convenient. Like every time somebody is trying to.
If you guys really cared, this would have been corrected when they first heard it.
Yeah.
The first time it was said, it would have been corrected, and it's like that shows me that people are truly changing when it's corrected early on. But as when stuff comes out like this, it's like, what do y'all want us to do? You want me to get upset about it? No.
We gotta go back and condemn a person for some shit they did and they didn't they grew out of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Kevin Hart. Yeah. Kevin Hart turned down. Somebody brought this up 2 calls ago, but Kevin Hart fucking turned down the Oscars. And what happened after that? Then after that, they said they took his joke of him talking about his son not being gay, and they
ran with it. Yeah, that's another part of the media that you just.
It's like the moment you change things and you don't go along with the shit that they want,
Yeah.
They bring up the past.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Thank you, Betty, for picking up my call.
Listen, I was like, I don't know who this is, but they about to get this downtown.
Huh?
I said, I don't know who this is. That's what I was thinking. I was like, they about to get this downtown. Because I was just leaving out to get these toes
You picked
done.
up before, but you didn't say nothing.
No. I was trying to get it out of my purse.
Oh. All
And I
right.
looked at it and I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to go and look. I don't know who this is. And he called again and I was like, okay, it can't be scam likely. Usually they just leave it alone after the first one.
Nah, it was me. So thank you, Betty, for picking up my call. This
No
is
worries.
amazing. Somebody asked, how would you feel if the what did he say? Hold on, I'm sorry. He said, how would you feel if Joe Biden said the N-word?
I wouldn't take it seriously. Do they see how
He did.
how
They
gone he is?
they pulled that up. That Joe Biden did say the N-word. He was reading off a piece of paper.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was reading off a piece of paper. He was reading a document from 1985. It was in 1985. He was reading a document and he said the N-word.
Yeah, he got it.
Because it was written in the document, Betty.
Yeah, but we shouldn't.
What do you mean? It's a legal
He shouldn't
document.
say
You
it.
can't read legal documents?
Yeah, but he's supposed to pause at that part of the word.
You gotta
Or say, like, I won't say that. I see plenty of professors
It's a legal
do
document, though, Betty.
that. They can pass that. That's a choice. I'm sorry. That's a choice. That's a choice. That's a definite choice.
But this
Not
was
say that word, sure.
Come on.
When you
come
see
on.
it, you know what it is. There's too much
You never
knowledge.
in a courtroom in a government building, you have to like fucking state what's on the page verbatim. You can't skim past it.
No, they can. They know they can. There's
Betty,
plenty
you
of things that people have passed
cannot
up
do
on.
that in the court of law. You cannot do that.
I'm sorry. At this point, at this juncture, I have to disagree, sir.
But it was 1985.
That's even worse. That's like the year before I was born. They shouldn't have been saying it then.
Oh God! All right. Jesus.
Always love arguing with you.
According to Betty, there's no context in which a white person should say nigga.
Yeah.
All right.
That is. Those are my emotions. Good, sir.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you for picking up.
Listen, anytime. I'm always here. Take it easy out there, though.
Oh no, I won't.
I won't.
I don't
Oh
take
my
nothing
God,
easy.
nobody crazier than you. I swear.
Nah, I don't like taking it easy. Shit's whack. Doesn't bring any excitement taking it easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're the what was it? Was it Jim Jones? It's Jim Jones. A couple summers ago on his Instagram, he said one of the most hilarious things
Jim
I've
Jones
ever
is
heard of
being
in my
called
life.
out now too. You know, see what happened today with Jim Jones?
Oh no. He used to say this thing called stay safe and stay dangerous. That's what I was about to say. That's you. Stay safe and stay dangerous.
Nah, Jim Jones is nut. All right, man. Thank you, Betty.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Take care. All right, so that's it. I'm done. I had a call. My baby mother's calling me. I gotta pick up. You know how that goes. Salute to y'all. Thank you. I did 2 hours today. That was crazy. 2 hours on the N-word. It's crazy. Thank you for tuning in. If somebody calls in the next 2 minutes, I'll pick up. Other than that, I guess white people don't say the N-word. Black people will continue to say the N-word to fucking white people and whoever they feel like. And I don't know if it comes from the kings, negus and niggas and negro. Does it come from Spanish people? Who knows where it comes from? The fact is, now we live in this day. Don't say the word if you're white. If you're black, I guess you can say the word if you feel like saying it. And that's just that. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Deuces.